Well, I've heard some things, through the grapevine, that there may be some people out there doing some pearl clutching concerning my opinions on Trump, treason, and execution. And, I'm pretty passionate about Donald Trump and about the things that he's done, not just this time, but the last time he was president. And I've said a great many things. So if there's someone out there who has an issue with me, you need to kind of be direct and not just talk about me, friend. Talk to me. Put a link. Let me defend myself. But to that end, let's clarify, though, because sometimes maybe I did say something wrong in the past. I don't think I'd ever said that specifically, just that. I mean, there's always a step in between that especially Trumpers, they usually don't seem to understand. In there is he needs to be arrested, prosecuted, tried, and convicted of treason. And then at that point, really, he should face whatever circumstances or whatever justice is called by the system. If life in prison, I'm actually, to be honest, I am pro-life in prison if Donald Trump were convicted of treason. Yeah, Donald Trump, any of them, they should be life in prison. I'd much rather prefer that than them to be unalived by the state. Oh, sure, that might seem gratifying or some business like that. And I think I've said this before on live streams and all this other stuff, especially as an atheist, man, that's the easy way out. They're done. Boom, they just blink out and they're done. If they have to spend the rest of their life in prison, then they get to receive the justice for what they have been convicted of and what they've done. That's my opinion on Donald Trump. I don't know that I've ever come out and just said, we do get passionate sometimes. We do say things that, of course I have a YouTube channel I got to protect. And I try not to say things directly too much. Sometimes my words are in my brain and I'm like, ooh, I wish, or somebody does something and I'm like, I kind of agree with that. But I can't say. I usually don't say things that are that graphic or that outright. And besides, just having him, like I said, unalived by the state really doesn't buy me the justice that I want if Donald Trump can be found guilty. Now, of course, we know anytime Donald Trump, he's in power now, right? So he corrupts all the investigations into him and all this business. You can't say he doesn't. Let's look at the Mueller investigation. My claim is that I believe Donald Trump has been in bed with Vladimir Putin for a very long time, since before his first presidency. And that was what the Mueller report was to bear out. But he undermined it, gutted it, did everything he could to make it stop and disappear until he finally could. But you go look at the Mueller report, and I think it'll bear out clearly that Donald Trump is in league with Russia. And he has been. But these are my feelings. Now, what happens at the end of those feelings? Well, we've got to get an investigation. We've tried that several times. All the investigations now are being quashed. The investigation is to the documents, what he had with the documents at his home. What happened to some of the documents that he had at his home? Stuff like that. All gone, because fair, legitimate presidents don't, hide stuff like that. So I really believe there needs to be an investigation. At some point now, if this continues to escalate to where Donald Trump really does bring about a fascist dictatorship in the United States, you're not going to find me being the voice telling the White Rose that they shouldn't be printing their leaflets. That's not going to be me. I'm going to be one of the ones printing the leaflets. If you get the reference, you get the reference. We're, in fact, the ones under attack. And, really one of the things I want to point out before I end this video, I want to mention that this is a perfect example of what happens on the left. Yeah. I mean, we monitor ourselves and monitor each other, and we're going to tone police each other, and we're going to limit each other. And, I'm not going to let that guy on my show because he said this one thing, Maybe I did say something. I don't know. You'd have to tell me specifically if I did. But, there's something about me. I will learn and I will change my mind if I'm corrected. If I learn, I will learn and grow. You should find that out about me. But to the point is that we have got more important things than me going around tone policing each other about whether or not I said what I said about Donald Trump. Come and ask me. Show me in a link where I said something, a video where I said something, and I'll either correct myself, defend myself, or I'll grow. It's one of those things. Now, again, the notion, what I've heard is that somebody out there is clutching their pearls because I think Donald Trump should be executed for treason. But I don't hear the caveat that, yeah, he should be investigated, tried, and if convicted, yes, then he should be, but I don't really hear that part of it coming from, and we've got so many people out there tone policing and telling us what we can and what we can't say on our show. I don't really see where there's a problem with what I'm saying. I mean, I don't really see why. If the punishment for what he has done involves that's not my call. And again, I actually would want him to be around and live in shame in prison without his hair medication and his makeup and all that business. I want him to enjoy some of the suffrage that he's brought on other people. I don't normally want that on people. I really don't. There are two different, in my mind, there's two different kinds of people in this world. There's the kind of person that suffered and therefore other people have to suffer. And then there's the person who suffered and feels like, I don't want anybody else to suffer. I'm that latter group in almost all cases, but you can only watch somebody enjoy making other people en masse suffer so much before you go, you know what, that man needs some justice. So take it however you like. I believe Donald Trump needs justice, and I'm not the one that's able to make that happen. I can just tell you what I believe. And, I don't know. I don't really see that there's a problem with it. I've just heard these grumbling. So if you got a problem, let me know.